to the cloud. Cool. So thank you for joining us on the Tuesday, November 17th bug triage for KubeBuilder. This morning, I was thinking we could start out with looking out at the issues tagged kind bug and making sure those are assigned or resolved, and then moving to looking at other recent issues as well. How do folks feel about that?
Seems fine to me.
Cool. So let's see, this one's pretty new. All right. So it looks like this is just a small validation error message. I would be happy to take this. We don't have to dwell into this, go into this too much, but this looks like relatively low-hanging fruit. And since I'm still relatively new to this code base, I'd be happy to assign this myself and take a look.
Okay, I don't know like how much you want to dive into this, but I think this is actually not, I don't think this is anything we have control over.
I think it is a one, sorry.
No, go ahead, Camilla.
I think it is one, it's more like we just need to do a test. We can use the samples one with the 3 alpha and see if we will face the same behavior, but I believe that the error message came from the Kubernetes API. So
Yeah, yep. I concur with Camilla here. I think they're just complaining about something from the Kubernetes API, and
Gotcha. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, this is just about like whatever the API server is doing, validating spec replicas.
Yeah.
I'll write up a follow-up message to that effect. Yeah, this doesn't look related to KubeBuilder.
Is that a bug in Kube API server?
The 500 replica limit?
Well, the fact that the way it reads to me is like invalid value. You should say invalid value 501, expected to be less than 500, which I think is what this person is saying.
Mm.
Like, should we say like what we already talked about?
Gotcha.
Like, do you think this person should open a new issue in Kubernetes?
it's possible.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
In the message, I can just advise them to reopen the same issue for the API server.
We've experienced other things like this. I dropped a link in there at the bottom of that last issue as well that points to another issue where OpenAPI validations were incorrect in Kubernetes.
Gotcha.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you for doing that. All right, let's see this one.
I was actually tracking that one. Someone posted in the Slack channel that they wanted to be able to assign a different plural name to a resource, and that they weren't able to do it. So I made a small pull request that added a plural flag that just changed the plural name. And when we did that, we tested it, and there was some validation error or some bug with the plurals. As we weren't using them, we were using always the default plural. We didn't see this bug before, but I don't know. I think it's something related with some of the tags that we need to add to make the plural in Kubernetes in the scaffolded files actually.
Yeah, I know. It looks like Camila's already taken a look at this. I do like the idea of.
Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you can go.
we should mark these as we go. We should mark these with the triage label so that we don't end up re-triaging them in the future.
So let's see this.
So we have a bug as well, if I'm not wrong, in the controller chain about the plurals. But I think what we need to decide is, should we provide this flag? Is this an option that you would like to offer to the users? Are everybody okay with this new flag?
Yeah, I don't see any particular problem with it. I think I don't have the background though, if there's any particular issues, but at first glance it seems okay.
And it shows that the webhooks has the flag, so would it really make sense having the resource as well?
Yeah, in version 2 of KubeBuilder, we actually have one flag that its name is resource actually, and it's only for the create webhook method or plugin or whatever, and it does that, setting the plural version of the kind, but there's only that flag for the create webhook instead of also for the create API. So I had another pull request opened with I can link it here if you want, to add the flags to the third version. And that was a pretty simple one, but the thing is that we have to solve first that they are not, even if you set the plural to the new one, you have to solve the bug that doesn't configure it properly.
Can you link to the bug so that as well, if you can find
that
it?
issue is the bug.
This issue is the bug.
Yes, we found
Okay,
that.
sorry.
We found that when we were looking at the following issue. It's in the chat. The pull request I linked is the one that adds the plural flag to the. Actually, I think it does to the version 2 also, but that's something that I have to change only to add it to the version 3. And when we tested that one is when we found the bug that it was not creating the proper resources.
Okay.
No, I think it's fine. It should be just for the new flag. Should we address just to plugin v3 alpha, maybe?
Yeah, I'm okay with that, only for the new version.
So can I summarize to make sure I understand this? It sounds like we're saying we want create API and create webhook to have a plural flag. And this would be in the v3 alpha plugin. And then
So
the
I
bug
think
is
it's
that
triage accept,
Yeah,
probably Milestone v3 alpha.
I think this
and
is
Python,
important. Yeah.
unless someone has any objection. Would you like to take this one,
Joe, are you saying something?
Adrian?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought
Yes.
I was. Could you all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What were you saying?
I just wanted to summarize to make sure I understood this. So we're talking about a plural flag to create API and create webhook, and then plumbing that through such that the scaffolded Go files have the right markers, such that when controller gen runs, the CRDs get generated correctly. Is that what all of this is?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Thanks.
And remind me again, like what so is it really that difficult to go and modify the marker yourself afterwards? Because I think, isn't that the only place where the plural field is set in the project. Like there's nowhere else that plural is set by the scaffold.
I think
By
that it's
create
also
API.
set for the webhook somewhere, and I don't know. There are. I think there are a couple places that it has to be set.
Right.
I didn't
I
actually
guess if
track
this is
it.
yeah, if this is the only part of a resource that we would ever really need to set, that's different from what you pass into group version kind, then I'm fine with that in that case. If there are other things that we want to start adding to markers like this, then this can get kind of messy if we keep adding flags for this kind of thing. I just want to throw that out there. I think this is the only thing that we would ever really want to modify, because we do use a library to pluralize, and that might not always be the correct pluralization of kind.
Exactly.
And like, it's also a pain to add overrides to that pluralization library.
Yeah.
So allowing people to specify it themselves, I think, is good in the long run.
Yeah. Okay. I'm fine with it.
Cool. Does anybody want to take this on? I'd be happy to take a first look at it. Maybe this would be useful for me. All right then. So just refreshing this to make sure the labels show up. All right, let's go down to CLI bug filed here.
Oh, this one is because when we do KubeBuilder init, if the tool will check if we have the project file already scaffolded and raise an error, like this project is already initialized. But if we have a director with the name project as well, the same error will be faced. So it's more like to skip if it's a director. Check if it's a file. If not, skip.
I think
actually,
it's even worse than that. I would say if the command doesn't require knowing the project, anything about the project file, we shouldn't even check its existence or know anything about it. So the example, I think, is if we run KubeBuilder version, that should never have to know anything about project file.
Yeah.
The thing is that we are reading the project file because we need to know both the project version and the plugins in order to be able to build the command itself. With the plugin system, we need to know both those attributes, and if you provide them by a flag, you have them. But if you don't provide them by a flag, you have to check them in the config file. And the issue is that you can't resolve the plugins without them, but you want to be able, you need to resolve the plugins to build the command, which actually builds also the version command. So it's a bit of a mess over there. I uploaded a work in progress pull request like a couple hours ago that refactored a bit, well, more than a bit, the part of the client, and make sure that if we are reading the file and we don't find it, we don't get an error for that. And I think it will solve this problem, but I'm not completely sure. It's still a work in progress. I need to add some more tests. So I can do this one if you want.
Cool. So I'll say that this is accepted.
Actually, that's not me. It's
Yeah.
the fifth one.
Oh, this one. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I'll say triage
I
accepted.
think the project next milestone. Sorry.
Cool. All right. Print column can print when used watch flag.
This is definitely a known Cube API server bug.
Gotcha.
Or not bug. This is a feature request, I think. I think it was eventually fixed. Probably just leave a little blurb. Oh yeah, they're using an ancient version.
That's old, yeah.
Yeah. Say this is a Kubernetes API server feature. It was fixed in a newer version. It may be fixed in a newer version. If not, please file this against Kubernetes.
Gotcha. What should we label this then?
I don't think we have one proper for this one.
I mean, we're closing. We can close it immediately, I think.
Yeah, let's do that.
We used to have a triage misfiled. We might want to bring that back.
I think we also should add that level to the first bug we found.
I'll make a note to edit this one after.
I'm just writing up a quick note for this. This is an API server error. Yeah.
Yeah, error feature requests thing. I think it's due to how watch works and the interaction between watch and server-side printing.
Gotcha. If I can find like the actual issue tracking this in the Kubernetes project itself, I'll link it here. But for now, I'll just close this with a comment.
Yeah,
all right.
That seems like a good idea.
Borked. Something is borked.
Thing is,
Okay. This looks like it's already taken care of, so let's skip over that. Oop.
I don't. So yeah, this is already triage, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to be working on this.
Yes.
Okay, just apply the label then. I think this got triaged before. Oh, it is triaged.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the link. I don't know what link we are using, but it's fine.
Cool. I'll refresh this just to make sure this is up to date. All right. Some fields of KubeBuilder version output are missing or unknown.
This should be resolved by a recent PR that set these fields. And these will only be set if you actually make install KubeBuilder. So if you go get it, this won't work. But I think that's okay.
It should be, yeah, that should be fine, I think. We might at some point want to consider unifying our different version approach. I think controller tools version pulls from the Go module version instead. But yeah, I think largely we intend KubeBuilder to be distributed as a binary, so.
Gotcha. Should we close this then?
I think we could link the pull request where we add the flags to the make install or make build directive. I can search it.
Yeah, I seem to recall this is also just complaining.
It's actually number 1814.
Oh, homebrew.
Gotcha. Let me pull up that.
Yeah. We need to fix the formula. It's just the formula. It's wrong.
I mean, we don't. Does anybody on this call maintain the formula?
I don't think we did.
Okay, because it's not, as far as I know, it's not officially maintained by us. So I think this is more of a case of like the people that maintain the homebrew formula to fix it.
Yeah.
So I think we can close.
It may be solved by the pull request we added because probably brew install is using make build to make it. So
Yeah.
it should be, and if it continues, they should ask the maintainer to fix it.
So I'll mention that like 1814 looks like it should fix this issue by setting these like actual build variables. And if this issue still persists, please contact the maintainer of the KubeBuilder homebrew formula.
I'm not sure if this will solve because the formula uses the binary that is released. So in the next release, probably you solve. But anyway, I believe that we agree as well that the project don't maintain this formula. So it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, is it okay if I say that, yeah, if this issue still persists, please contact the maintainer of the formula, which is maintained independent of this repo?
Yeah.
And I'll close this for now, I think.
Yep.
Cool. All right, let's hop back here. Oh, where's my filter? All right, deploying manager pod is non-root. Oops, how did I open that correctly?
This one we need a release. We need a release in the cloud of the WAF proxy and then update. It's the only thing that is still missing to fix that.
Gotcha.
We
And it looks like
changed
you're already on it.
Yeah.
Should I just label this as triage accepted? Just make sure we have that tracked.
Yeah.
Other than that, it looks like Camila is already handling this. All right, inconsistent sample code for cron job tutorial.
Yeah, I moved this one for V3 plugin for we remember to update the samples in the docs because we have two test data samples that we are using in the docs. This specifically issue, it's outdated. We have now a script that helps us to update that, but it still requires manual work. I think it has one issue tracker before we try to figure out a better way to do that. And at the end, it has a feature request from you, Gabi, for we do something to do a cherry picks.
Oh yeah, I remember this. This is already like resolved. I've been meaning to write like a small RFC for how we could automate pushing updates to docs to the actual like V2 book. I'm gonna assign this to me and say triage accepted. And I need to write this RFC this weekend. It's been on my to-do list for forever. I'll take a look at this. All right.
But then we will, okay. We will use this issue to address the feature requests.
The future, sorry, I missed the last part of what you were saying.
No, just if you will use this issue to address the feature request to cherry pick the changes in the docs, or will we use this to update, to remember to update the samples before the release? Or after the time?
Yeah, I can do the cherry pot. I could do a cherry pick. I'll make a point of opening up a cherry pick PR today. All right. Oops. What other bugs are still there? Okay, we have this one. Yeah. I have to drop out to join a meeting for work, but let me just make sure that Camila can become the host of this meeting as well.
This seems related to the previous one. Also part of the tutorial.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, I'll also do triage accepted here. And I can also send myself to this because I think this will get roped into the cherry pick I can make today. All right.
Yeah, I think this bug, for posterity, I think this was solved by a fix in controller tools after much deliberation, and it just, like, literally, in order to work with new versions of API server, you need the new controller tools because of a upstream issue involving
Gotcha.
validation changes they made.
Yeah, the V3 Alpha plugin has the fix for this, and also in the SDK, I posted a workaround. If you scroll down, you can see the comment that I made. And
I think we can close it is one. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I can verify. Oh yeah, this looks like it was fixed a while ago. Let's close it. Let me verify that before I close it.
It was not about that. It was about the other that I was speaking. This one is still the error. If you click on, if we go in the documents, the marks are showing multiple times. It's a documentation issue.
Is that actually true? There's a bunch that apply to both fields and to types, and I think they appear differently for on type versus on field.
That's true.
And we could probably do some pre-processing in the script so that on field and on type just showed as like two labels on the same marker. But like as it stands, they just appear as separate markers in the JSON blob we get from controller tools. So they appear multiple times.
Is this part of the documentation generated automatically, or do we do it manually? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's generated automatically. Basically, if you pass the more H's or W's you pass, the more verbose documentation you get from controller tools until you pass 4, at which point you get a blob of JSON. And we use the blob of JSON to generate that HTML.
Okay. And is it up to date, or? Because I know we have updated controller tools. I think we have updated controller tools recently, so.
It is one of the steps in doing a release is supposed to be updating the version of controller tools that generates this.
Okay.
It's in like the build it's in the little build.sh for the documentation.
Okay.
Cool. So I'm just writing up a comment saying that we can amend the documentation to deduplicate the appearance of markers and specify that markers can be used on types and fields.
Yeah.
Cool. So I will say that this has been accepted. I'm happy to work on documentation issues as well, so I will take that. Cool. All right, I think we have everything triaged here. We already covered this morning. I think we're going to just close this. I'll put that on my to-do list for today. I do need to drop out to join another work-related meeting, but I think Camila is going to take over as host and then share the same screen. Let me just make sure she can share her screen first.
Just
Okay.
one moment, I try to
Yeah.
reconnect.
I'll take time. I can take this time to finish up writing an explanation as to why we'll close this first issue.
I'm unable to go inside as a host, probably because I'm using the browser. I need to reinstall this one. Today I had many problems to go inside.
Oh no. So can you not share?
Let's see if Eric can help us. Eric, can you solve us? I will share.
Do you want me to share my screen?
Yes, I
Yeah.
will pass for you the link as well.
Do we want to just call it for today since we got through our
Can
goal
be.
of going through the open
Can
bug
be as
issues?
well. Can be
Yeah, we-
in.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Was
we
there
got through all the
something
bugs.
specific? Was there something specific that you wanted to look at, Camilla, or just generally
Yes,
go through all the other issues?
I would like to see if Solly could stay after this meeting for we check what we need to do a new release, if we can do a new release. Just to check for.
Isn't there there's a bunch of stuff in the plugins and the 300 milestone already, right?
In 30 milestone, we have just two issues. It's a second, I cannot share my screen, but we have just two issues. One is for we bump the model to V3, and another one is to fix the tool to allow us to do the release. That's a task that is with you, that we checked today again. And then I would like to know if we can do the 3.0 release. We can bump the project version for 3. Also, if we can make the plugin, V3 Alpha plugin stable, or we need to release first this as alpha and then do a next one like 3.1 as stable.
So normally the release process should just be like tagging release on GitHub, and then we have a Google Cloud Builds configuration stored in the repo that like builds KubeBuilder and pushes to that tag. But I think the configuration is broken because it hasn't been used in a while, in that it is still set up to build with a really old version of Go, and like something's very broken there, because I think it's using a similar configuration to our nightlies, which are currently broken. Hence that I think I have filed a bug about that. So I think the process there, like I think we need to figure out like what we want to do with the release tooling, because I think we were using like a modified version of Go Releaser that Sunil wrote or forked, and I think we probably don't want to be using that anymore. Just like we want to be using something that either like we can unify across all of our projects or something that's maintained or something. So.
But if you,
Okay.
Eric, can you click on the issues? I just raised one in
Well,
the
just,
open issues.
really quickly about the cloud build config. That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
if you go in the open issues, I raised one just now. I would like to know if we can do this now, like bump it, because now the project version is 3 alpha. Can we bump it now for 3? Are we okay with that
Oh,
for the next
well,
release?
let's talk about that in a sec. First, I want to just touch on
Okay, sure. Sorry.
how we're gonna fix this. So this is assigned to me. I can take a look into this. I said I would and didn't. So do you think it's as simple as bumping to go 115 for cloud build?
It might. I seem to recall that there might have, I might be misremembering, but I seem to recall there might have been like some sort of hitch there.
Which is why it wasn't done, because it wasn't as easy as that.
Yeah, it could have been something about like the weird custom version of Go Releaser or something. You can you could try that and see if it works. And like I'm happy to get on at some point too, and like on Slack, and we can like or on a different short meeting, and we could just like I could look at literally just like look at the direct results of the cloud build run.
Yeah.
But like I think it might be more complicated than that.
Let me prioritize this week, so we can at least release when we're ready to, and I'll see what errors I find. I've been playing around a lot with Go Releaser recently, so I'm familiar with how all this stuff works. And yeah, I'll let you know what I find.
Okay. Great.
Do I need any special permissions to run cloud build or test snapshots?
So to test the you could run it from, you can run the cloud build configuration from the command line if you have like GCP resources to run it or whatever on. The snapshot one won't start working until we merge a working configuration of it somewhere.
Right.
But like in the meantime, if you have access to GCP resources, or I think there's like an offline cloud build tester somewhere. I don't remember where that is though.
Is that specific to KubeBuilder, or can I just like type in cloud build tester on Google and find it?
Type in cloud build tester on Google.
Okay. Good to know. Okay, I'll try and test this out with upgrading to Go 115. See what happens. Okay. Cool. Okay, Camilla, you were saying something about this issue, right?
Yes, I would like to know if we can do it this now, if everybody agrees for the next release.
Well,
we define the project version as 3.
I mean, ideally, yeah, but I think you wanted to merge a webhooks change. I was looking at that PR. That would require us that would require 3 alpha to merge. So we have to agree on that first. And I don't know of any other changes that we want to make to the project file right now.
The other possibly impacting change is the phase 2 plugin stuff. That's fairly early on. There's an EP that Rashmi posted maybe last week, but I think that would impacts the project file. So we need to decide whether we want to get that in ahead of project version 3 stable, or whether we go ahead with project version 3 and then either try to figure out how that works in a backward compatible way, or that ends up being a project version 4.
Also, some of the issues that we treat today, like the plural flags one, or some of them will probably also require a change in the project configuration file. The plural probably has to be stored also there. So
what
If it's
sorry.
If it's just an addition, then I think we can add. I don't know if folks agree with this, but I think if it's just adding to the project file, we can probably do that without bumping the major project version, as long as there's a backwards compatible way of understanding that file without that field there.
yeah, true.
Yeah, and I think we can do the same thing for, actually, we can't really do the same thing for the adding webhooks to the project file, because we don't know whether a user has scaffolded a webhook in the current implementation of the project file.
Right.
It's additional, yeah. So can we agree that we can move forward with this one, and we can just add things, not change things anymore?
I think if we're gonna do a release of, we should probably discuss this in the main meeting too on Thursday, but if we're gonna do a release of KubeBuilder v3 as an alpha, then we should probably keep the project version as alpha as well, in case we get feedback or bugs or whatever. If we're not intending on doing another release with like KubeBuilder v3.0.0 then it's fine. But I think we should probably wait to increment the project version v3 to stable until we feel like, until we've had at least a couple alpha releases, until we cut the final version of v3. They're not supposed to be tied together necessarily in the long term, but like for the next release, we might just want to tie those two together.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Sorry. Also, I would like to add that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we haven't had 3.0 alpha at all yet. So maybe what we should do is, as soon as we figure out how to do a release, we cut up 3.0.0 alpha 1, basically with whatever we have. And we keep making progress. And once we get to the point that we have everything in that we want to be in, then we can change the project version that we scaffold to 3. And we can, in my opinion, I was kind of talking to Camilla separately about this, but I wonder what you guys think. Should we also make the KubeBuilder Go v3 alpha plugin, should we also get that to a stabilized point at the same time that we're getting the project version to a stabilized point? I was leaning towards yes on that, but I'm curious if anybody else thinks differently.
Yeah, I +1 to that, for similar reasons to just what I just said. Like, I think for KubeBuilder version 3, all of the 3 should go to stable at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Yeah.
So also we have been pretty strict with what we allow to go in already stable or already released version. Like, for example, we have a lot of changes that we could have applied to version 2, but we haven't because it's version 2 and it's already released. So I think that we need to make it more mature before we move into a stable version 3. So +1.
But it is change that you are speaking, it's about the plugins, the scaffolds, I think. So it's more, no?
I'm talking about all the things in general. I think that we should keep version 3 alpha in the 3 things, both KubeBuilder, both the project configuration file version, and also the plugin version. And when we have a final version 3 for KubeBuilder, it will be with the 3 parts and in a stable situation, the 3 at the same time.
Yeah, I'd like to also add that. So the SDK team has been talking about how can we get the community bumping up and using the latest versions of Kubernetes. So I think another piece of this would be once 120 GAs, let's also pull in the version of controller runtime that has 120 dependencies, put that in V3 or V3 alpha. And then hopefully, in another month or two, we can close a bunch of these outstanding V3 and V3 alpha issues and basically cut KubeBuilder V3 to support 1.20 and make all the stuff stable around then. If you guys think that makes sense.
I think that the big question here and right now is, do we want to finish the plugin phase 2 version before going into a version 3, or can we go into a version 3 of KubeBuilder without having the phase 2 implemented?
I agree. I think if we're going to wait on plugin phase 2, we're going to basically strand a whole bunch of people on Kubernetes 118 or 118, because we're making a whole bunch of breaking changes in controller runtime on 0.7 that necessitates a new version of the plugin.
Okay.
So I think that's kind of the balance we need to talk about and strike.
Okay, so we may need to go for version 3.2 or something like that to end the plugins phase 2.
Possibly, yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so just to see if I understand the strategy, we will fix the tool that we can do the release. Then we will do a release of 3.0 blah 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 alpha. And we still with plugin alpha and project file alpha. Then the next release, when we be able to do a release that is stable, will be project version 3 and plugin V3 is stable as well.
Exactly.
Yep.
All in 3.0. Perfect. This sounds great.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
I will put these comments in that task as well for we have it.
Yeah,
The
and
register
then-
of the agreement and put in this milestone.
Yeah, that sounds good. We don't have to go through these right now. I'm going to go through these and make sure that all of them are necessary to release or to like stabilize the V3 plugin. I think some of them can be moved out. So we could probably slim this list down considerably, or some of them are already done.
Maybe we should create a milestone to track the things that we plan to do, but for the next one, so that we don't focus our effort right now in things that are not gonna land in the first release, so that we can get the first release the earliest possible, and leave the other ones into, I don't know, maybe 3.1 or following one.
This was my idea as
I
well,
think
because
3.1 is, yeah.
I think like V3 is stable, maybe, because I believe that is more the plugin stuff that is for this. Because for the click for 3.0, or we can put in the 3.01 milestone, everything that is required to a stable 3.0, 3.0, sorry.
Also, probably we want to introduce the new action. Well, we already changed Travis for GitHub Actions in the pull request process, but there's also a new feature in the action that checks the titles and the descriptions, and probably for the time when we are ready to release the first one, we can also bump it so that the workflow uses the new one. Because right now, if you do a push or a force push, the messages from that description or that title linting are not being shown, and they are like hidden in the first commit. So probably it's also something that we want to add to the version 3. I think there's no an issue tracking that.
Oh, you mean on the version
If there
3
isn't one,
branch?
can you make one?
Yeah, I mean, the changes Solid probably knows. We just merged a pull request in the release tools that also tracks synchronized events, so that both when you push and you force push, you also update your, if the title is valid, or the pull request title or the pull request description are valid. So we probably also want to add that to version 3.
Sounds good.
Is there anything else specific that any of you can think of that we need to address before doing any of these things? I guess you don't have to answer that now. If you find anything and there's not an issue for it, create it and throw it into either the 3+ milestone or the 300 milestone.
I don't think I can actually use milestones because I'm a reviewer only, but yeah, I will ask for it.
I think Camilla and Solly both have them. So just ping either of them.
What would you like it to do? Create another milestone?
Well, also that was the other point,
No.
but right now I will create a new issue and it needs to go into the 3.0.0 milestone.
Yeah.
Okay, just ping me. I can put it there. No worry.
Yeah. And actually, let's, now that you mention it, let's create that 310 milestone. If somebody can do that.
Yes, I can do now.
Okay. Cool. I think that settles it for this meeting. And yeah, anything big that comes up, we can address in the upcoming KubeBuilder controller runtime controller tools meeting.
When is that meeting? Because I'm not receiving the email, so.
It is next week. I can share with you the calendar again,
Okay.
as I share it is one. No worry.
Is it
Okay.
not this week?
It's not this week. Let's see.
Or is it this? Is
Yes.
I think it's this week.
Yes, it's this week. Sorry.
If you're on the KubeBuilder mailing list, you should have the invite. I don't know. I never know exactly how it works if you sign up after the invite is sent, but I thought it sent you the calendar invite if you add yourself to the mailing list.
I sent to you the Google Docs, has the details as well, but it's the same Zoom meeting and password.
Okay, thank you.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
The only has just more one. I think we don't have time, but the other issue that I tracked that maybe is relevant to the changes in the project file is we ensure that we store all input data from the users. I would like just to know if someone has an objection. If it's possible to do this for the next release, nice. If not, it's okay as well.
I think we should talk about that at the meeting. I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, thanks for sticking around, everybody.
Yep.
Really,
See everybody
thank you.
Thursday.
See you.
Yeah.